Hi Debbie, how are you?
I'm all right, thanks David, are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, so my name's Debbie Watkinson. I'm one of the senior lecturers on the adult nursing team. I'm based in Chesterfield, in the Chesterfield campus. I've been there for about nearly 6 years, but I've been at the university for nearly 13 years, so quite a while.
So why did you want to become a nurse?
Well, nursing's in my family really. This is a story I always love to tell. My grandma was a nurse. She lived to a ripe old age of 101, and she worked as a nurse until she retired. The story was that she was the oldest of about, I think it was 7 children, and she ended up with caring responsibilities for all of her brothers and sisters. Her dad apparently was an alcoholic and a gambler, quite a weak man, but a really kind, lovely man. He ended up getting married again to a really formidable lady who I can actually remember when I was a real little girl. And my grandma, as the oldest sibling, ended up looking after all the children, looking after her stepmother, and also doing all the washing and all the odd jobs and trying to look after her dad as well. So when she was 16, I think she was 16, 17, she'd had enough of this and she ran away to London, got some work in a hospital. She was mainly cleaning at first, and from there she ended up doing, I don't think she did official training, but she ended up working her way up and becoming a state enrolled nurse. And then she remained as a nurse, as I say, till she retired. And she was well over 60 when she retired. I remember her retiring. But she used to take us to the homes when we were little girls, and we used to meet the old ladies and old gentlemen, and we used to love it. And then when I was 14, we had a massive issue in the family. My mum was taken very poorly, very suddenly. And she ended up in hospital for 6 weeks. They didn't really know what was going on. She had 2 or 3 lots of surgery. And I think it was sitting and listening to those nurses, watching those nurses how they cared for my mum in that 6 weeks, made me think that this was really, it's always been there. I think I'd like to be a nurse, but they were the people that inspired me into, really wanting to be a nurse, because I could see my mum from being so ill to then being, nursed through the process and through the surgeries and then nursed back to health and eventually coming home. So I think that was the biggest 2 inspirations really.
So where have you worked in your career?
Oh, I've worked all over the place. Interestingly, I work at, obviously you know where I work at St Helena, but I went to school there. So I left school in 1980 and I trained at Chesterfield Royal Hospital. So when I qualified, so I did the old-fashioned training where you worked everywhere in the hospital, out in community with health visitors, mental health, we did everything. And then when I qualified, I went to work with care of the elderly for a while and really loved that. But then after 6 months I wanted to change, so I did neurosurgery for a while. I applied for a job in Chesterfield and I ended up working in ITU for a little while. ITU, I learned a lot, but it wasn't for me. So then I went and did my midwifery training, which I absolutely loved. And again, interestingly, the midwifery hospital was just across the road from St Helena. So I lived literally a triangle that you could walk around in 5 minutes. So I did my midwifery. I loved being a midwife. I worked everywhere. I worked in labour wards, antenatal, postnatal wards, in clinics. I did a long time on community, which I absolutely loved, working with mums, new mums, babies, the families, working out in the community, making a difference. It wasn't called the midwife because I didn't ride a bike, but it felt a bit like that at times, because you develop that such a strong relationship with your patients. Lots and lots of home deliveries. I was the first community midwife in Derbyshire to deliver a baby at home in the water, in a pool birth. Okay, so wow. It was a bit wow, and it was a bit scary because nobody had done a home birth in the pool before, but it was absolutely beautiful.
So what are your hobbies outside of work?
Oh, I've got quite a few hobbies outside of work. I am a big football fan. So I go to watch football when I can. Obviously, I've not been recently because none of us have. But it's a family affair. I sit next to my dad and my sister, and my son goes as well. So we support Chesterfield Football Club for our perils and troubles, I suppose. I've been a football fan since my first job was actually at Chesterfield Football Club selling lottery tickets as a 15-year-old. So I've always supported them. I like cricket as well, so I'm into my sports. Anything to do with family, socialising. I like walk. I've got 2 little dogs, which I love walking, love the countryside, love being outdoors. I like my flowers and my garden. So I like lots of things really.
Brilliant. So how would your best friend describe you?
Well, I thought about this and I've asked some of my friends to describe me. So I think my own things was blonde and a bit scatty and old and forgetful, and they all agreed with that. But one of my friends said that I'm externally cheerful or tipsy, she said. So I don't know. I'll go for the externally cheerful one. And quietly knowledgeable. So I don't know what she meant by quietly knowledgeable. And someone else called me energetic, warm and joyful, which I thought was rather nice. Yeah, I hope they think that I'm caring and compassionate, and I try to be a good friend, as good a friend as I can be.
Absolutely. Well, that's brilliant. Well, thanks for talking to me, Debbie. It's been really good hearing your stories. And hopefully we'll be able to see each other soon.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I'm getting a bit fed up of seeing us people on the TV. It's not the most flattering vision, is it?
It's not the same.
No, it isn't.
Thanks very much. See you soon.
Thanks, David. See you soon. Bye.